decides it's not enough to at least justify playing for a win in the first game. So here we go. The match stays deadlocked. One of the few draws we've had today. And game 2 of Bullet underway.
Yep, and we've got this knight e7. Notice that it's not e4, e5, but still the idea of knight ge7 in any opening is met with d4. That's just a natural reaction. You got to claim the center if black is going to play in a way like knight e7 that doesn't fight for the central squares as much as knight f6.
Yeah, not an Alpin Sicilian, not a knight e7 Spanish game where Prague was black, but in some ways we're getting weird themes that are mixing in with all these openings. Here, both sides seem to be aware that we're in Bullet, though. Not that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but sometimes when you make that transition, one player is playing slower than the other, but not here. Yep. They both seem to be playing very quickly.
Agreed. There's sometimes an adjustment period where you're so used to playing blitz, as you have been for the last hours, that you're not ready for when it starts to get speedy. And there's not just, obvious adjustments to the time, but also the way that you play, the positions you take are suddenly different when it comes to Bullet. I'm more than happy to play a position like this with white, maybe more so than in the Blitz, because it looks difficult to defend. I'm on the attack, and it's just nice to play with the initiative. Agreed.
In fact, I was already looking at ideas of playing f6. It obviously was dubious as far as the sacrifice goes, but to Amon's point, white feels like white is getting more pressure here, and black has to play an ugly move f6 himself. Yeah, what an awkward pin here. I'm looking at it. I don't like it for either side. I wish I could bring more pressure as white, but black doesn't know what to do either.
Yeah, I like this position for Prague. I also think in terms of the time control, it's exactly where you want to be. Maybe you could go, queen e1 or queen f2 and slide over to g3. He took on e6, which I wouldn't have said is my let's say preferred move, because now not only is this a great bullet move, but it might just be a good move in general, and d5 cannot be used by the white knights.
Yeah, these are double pawns that you're happy to see. They control all the critical squares, and I love that move, rook d4, by the way, an exchange sack that nobody wants to take. This has really turned around for Fabi.
Fabi's brilliancy farming here. Every move he makes is a brilliancy because it hangs the rook. He's a genius.
I love it. Take advantage of that chess.com game review there. All right. Well, now the rook has been sacrificed, and maybe Prague took it at the right time because he's getting that knight to a brilliant blockading square.
Yeah. No, this is tough, but I will say bishop g3 is huge because rook f1 wanted to be played and couldn't. Yeah. So this is a little bit of an achievement. And remember, in Bullet, I would just always prefer having the initiative, and the initiative here is with Fabiano Caruana.
Yeah, but here comes queen e1. Oh, or queen g1 with queen h2. If you can get the queens off the board, the exchange is a lot easier to use.
Yep. Yeah, watch out. These rooks are defending laterally, but there's so many threats to watch out for. It feels like something's got to give.
Yeah, okay. The rooks are traded on f8, but Fabi still has the dark squares, and you still have to watch out for mating nets.
Bishop
wow, that
E4,
opens up the light squared bishop.
Closing the dark squared bishop, but the light squared bishop is now permanently open, so not easy to maneuver.
I mean, okay, the eval bar is creeping up for white, and obviously Prague is maintaining his time despite being low on the clock. But still, this is not so simple, I think.
I think it's pretty simple. Okay. Not going to lie. Just the bishops don't have anywhere to go. So you can build up like a3, b4. I'm just not really seeing a threat. I would probably bring the king to e2, honestly, but a3, b4 should break through.
Okay, I was thinking the d pawn was harder to get going with c5 protected, but you're right. The blockade is real. But okay, so now here comes b4 maybe? This is his plan to open things up for the rook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen it crash through just yet. At this point, he might just reposition everything, knight like rook e1, knight f2, knight e4. But yeah, you gotta open this at some point. As soon as he does, I think everything should work out.
Yeah, he's been hesitant to play b4, and Fabi is just kind of shuffling here.
Yeah, it's definitely proving your prediction correct that it's difficult. I still don't think that it is, but he's playing it as if, you know what, it's tough to break through. Rook h1, there's bishop f8, and rook f1, the bishop comes back to guard.
Yeah, I don't know. So apparently Prague thinks it's as tricky as I thought it was. And you're right, though. At some point, you just got to play b4 if you're white, but maybe he's too nervous on the clock or some bullet nerves are getting to him because if he's not going to open up lines, the rook is just not the more powerful piece.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
mean,
here we go. Here
d4
we go.
now. There you go. Yeah, do it when the d pawn can be captured because then there's knight e6 to follow. It can't play king c5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're all aligned that this should be more simple for white. Again, here we go. Knight a5 check is even
bishop
possible.
c5 is checkmate. Watch out.
Oh my gosh. Bishop c5 was threatened checkmate. Okay, but king b6, bishop c5 is oh okay. Woo! Heart attack.
It's a check, Danny.
It's a check. Wait, what was going on there?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
We're gonna have
this has become way more than just a simple conversion. I am in disbelief at how tricky this has got. Look at this position. What?
I absolutely am just blown away by how tricky this has been, or the fact that there was an eval bar drop. There was a weird blunder there that none of us could see. Oh my gosh.
This is absolute madness. I can't believe it. This is bullet chess. Like, it's just wild. Finally, we see rook h2, and the rook will rejoin the action.
Well, I was going to say, but g3 is hanging, so now you have to give up g4, and this is. I mean,
I think I would have given up g3, but okay, one way or another, take the knight and take on g3. You're losing all the pawns. This is incredible.
Oh my gosh.
You can't help but shake your head. No matter which player you are, this was a definition of a bullet game.
I know